We're back with Nine Dragons Ball Parade, and there's been a few developments in the past few weeks. Let's break it down. Hey everyone, Bruce Duotone Anime here. Laundry Room Bruce, Monkey D. Gucci, world's #1 striker. You know what it is. I took a little break from Nine Dragons Ball Parade. I kind of wanted to let the series run out a little bit in the sense I wanted to get some chapters out. Just to kind of, get some weight in it, get some time in it to kind of see where it was heading before I reviewed the chapters again. I might do this for a while just to see where it goes, because Shonen Jump, like I've mentioned before, can be real cutthroat with its series, so I don't want to invest too much time in a series that I don't think has too much time in a series that could potentially be canceled early on. Not because I think Nine Dragons is bad, I actually am really enjoying it, but I just know how fickle Shonen Jump can be, if that makes sense. I just know that they can really early on cut things, and even late in your career like Bleach just cut things. So I kind of want to take it chapters at a time, groups of chapters at a time. So that's where my reviews have been. I do enjoy the series, and the past few chapters have been pretty interesting, and this latest one's a little weird. So it took a completely different tone switch. So let's get into it. But I picked off with chapter 9, and that's in the Ayatsuji game. So our shortstop had invited the main cast out to play in a game because he wanted to get revenge for the team that kind of let him go and didn't recruited him, but decided no because he was too much. He wasn't worth the trouble. It was too much trouble to go into for him. As we know, our shortstop is a little needy, a little diva, a little too much, but very talented. You can't deny that. So we pick up with that, and chapter 9 is a chapter where we're just seeing the amazing plays, right? We're seeing Azukita's catching style, his analytics, Tsubaki's shortstop style, Tsurugi's batting, Ryudo's pitching. We're seeing all of it, right? We're seeing the whole gambit of our roster. It's a chapter that's really hyping up the team, really hyping up the members of the Nine Dragons. But in that chapter, we see Tsubaki's making amazing plays, right? And then but at the end of chapter 9, we see the two characters who pop up who are part of the opposing team's roster who know Tsubaki, who's at least seen him play, and they kind of say like, hey, like he's not really a shortstop, just give it a second. And it leads off, and then we pick up in chapter 10, which shows that while Tsubaki has a demonstrous talent, that can sometimes be a burden depending on the type of person you are, the type of player you are, because he does amazing plays, but like the kind of mysterious two, I think they're the shortstop and second baseman of the team. While what they mention is Tsubaki doesn't communicate well, he kind of is, how he's presented in the manga, like how you're reading as the reader. He's very self-centered, kind of. He's needy, he's brash, he's loudmouth, and he doesn't really take a stern approach to baseball, so that leads to when he's making amazing plays, but he's not communicating, then the kind of tide turns against him where people get frustrated with him, and he loses because he's not able to probably communicate what's going on and what he wants. And he kind of picks on Tsurugi a little bit. He kind of makes comments to Tsurugi, which I like the setups in these chapters. I think that's one thing Nine Dragons is already kind of doing well, is like it's like making the characters feel like they're actual people, which like should seem like common sense for all manga, but sometimes it just doesn't land. When in this case, I think it really does hit well that, Tsurugi and Tsubaki and Azukita, Ryudo, Karen, they're all people, and they all have play styles, and they're gonna make comments. So he messes up. He does a sick. It's like he tried to do a double clutch or a double play where he catches the ball and he flips it back in the same motion, which is incredibly talented, amazing. But if your partner is not there to do it, to not understand it, then it's gonna flop, and you're gonna look like an idiot. So that's what happens. What we find out about Tsubaki is he is an instinctual player. He's someone who relies on his reflexes and athletic ability to make plays, but as I pointed out, that's not always the best way to play a position or play sports. And the second baseman for, I think it's Hakuto, is the name of the second baseman, but what he points out is when he plays like that, it causes conflict with other players who, when that happens, you can't be a shortstop because you're in the defensive line that's closest. Barring the pitcher in baseball, you're the closest defenders. So you need to be able to react quickly and communicate quickly, which he doesn't. So he claims that does not make him a shortstop. And we see that Tsubaki does not want to change because he's offered a change to be a pitcher, but he does not want to be. He does not want to change. He does not want to flip positions. He just wants to play shortstop and be like the hero or the center of attention, right? And he gets into conflict with Tsurugi, who he made fun of for kind of catching the ball wrong or like chasing the ball that way. He made fun of him. And Tsurugi, they clash, because when a fly ball's coming, Tsurugi's up to get it, and he's in his zone, his defensive area. Tsubaki comes up and tries to make the catch as well, because he's trying to make the play and overthink it. And after that, we find out he's paralyzed by kind of being called out, or like, because Tsurugi was like, hey, if you do that again, I'll pinch your ears, which is weird. But he's like, I'm going to pinch your ears, I'm going to bully you if you do that, and Tsubaki does not want that to happen, so he gets paralyzed by inability. So the way they counteract this is Azukita tells him to kind of communicate with the front line. He makes him the captain of the infield line and makes sure he relies on Tsubaki to kind of lead the group with his plays and kind of communicate just with the infield line. And it ends up working. They end up winning the game. And I think it's really interesting because Tsubaki, we find out, though he is brash and he is self-centered, he has a pleasant disposition. He's not mean-spirited. He just wants to win and be the cause of winning, and that sounds really selfish. But, like, you know what I'm saying? When you're reading the chapter, he's not mean. He wants to win with his teammates, and he wants to lead them to victory. But in his mind, or the way he projects that, is being loud and being the showboat and making all the plays and being the center of attention so his team can be led to victory. It's conflicting, but we know he's not necessarily a mean or a bad guy. And they had turned it around, and then after that match, I'd like to say more about it, but really, it's just the match is meant to kind of show off Tsubaki and kind of show his growth into the Nine Dragons. But once they achieve victory, he actually receives praise from his old coach, and he doesn't really know how to take it. I thought that was kind of a cute moment where he doesn't really understand how to like get a compliment because he wasn't expecting it. But I did like that moment. But in moving on, we see actually that Tsubaki can it's not pure egocentrism with his plays. He actually can understand like what the best possible play is, what the most optimal play is, right? But he doesn't communicate that. He doesn't breach it out. So then they lead in chapter 11 to make him in charge of the defensive line, and eventually they do win. And after that, we actually get like 2 characters injected, I think because the mangaka kind of wanted to speed up the process a little bit, right? We couldn't go on this trip for a long time, so he kind of interjects 2 characters into the story real quick, kind of in almost the same chapter. He gives one chapter about time to get the first baseman of our team and the left fielder, respectively. Actually, I'm going to correct myself. We get 3 new recruits into the team, kind of smack dab in the middle of a chapter. We get Shuei, or in the middle of a chapter and a half, 2 chapters. We got Shuei Kido, who is a first baseman captain of the team, Taiga Toromoto, and his tag-along, who is also a second baseman. So now we have our keystone duo. The second baseman is Io Horoguchi, is the name of the second baseman. And with that, we have almost all our 9 dragons. We just need the right fielder and center fielder, respectively, to kind of balance out the team and fill it out. But we're getting close, guys. We're getting close with the filling of the 9 dragons. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the art style still. But I like all the strong personalities in this team. I'm like loving that, because when you center on a number, right, you center on a kind of collective name too, like Generation of Miracles, the 9 dragons. You have to have like, those are your centerpieces, so you need strong characters, you need strong personalities and strong designs, which I think all of them, even Shuei Kido is like he's like the litmus test. He's like the barometer. He's like the plain vanilla guy that like kind of is at the center, and then you spread out with like Tsubaki has the long hair, Tsurugi who's buff and looks like a hawk, and then like Toromoto and Io, respectively, like those 2 guys who show up in chapter 12. They all have kind of distinct looks, so it's weird that Shuei is the kind of like middle person. But we see those 2 join, and Io, Horoguchi, he's like a real shy guy. He's paranoid. He kind of has bags under his eyes, so like He's just really paranoid, but he's a great kind of silent defensive second baseman. He also is really good at stealing bases, apparently, because he's so stealthy, like Kuroko. He's great at stealing bases. Taiga is a power hitter, but he doesn't have a great hitting average. So, but when he hits the ball, he can hit a home run, no problem. But he doesn't have a good hitting percentage. So, if the manga goes on, I'm sure his kind of arc will be getting better, a better batting percentage, which will lead to more RBIs too. So, I think that's kind of his arc. But I like both characters. I like both of them. I like Shuei Kido. I like him too. So, I'm liking all the strong personalities. I'm liking the strong character designs. Besides that, that's what the chapter's about. It kind of just goes into, you know, them practicing and them introducing the characters and what they're about. Chapter 13 is a little weird, and this is the last one. I know I'm flying through, guys, but like I said, the manga's young, and it's just, we don't really have any hooks yet, like story hooks in the sense we don't really have like a main rival, or besides Hakuo. I shouldn't say that. We don't have like kind of a main story beat yet, a main story arc yet. So I know I'm flying through, but I am enjoying the chapters, but I'm bad with like details and stuff. So please bear with me. Please forgive me for that. But we see the last chapter, we see Hakuo Academy, and this is where it gets really weird, because like the pitcher and the head coach are like the son of the head, like the academy's like head person, and he has like all like their bad press, all their like failures, like in a hallway. He has like a hall of shame leading up to his office. It's just like times like they got beat, and like when like they got like defeated or shown up or like rejected or something. It's anything like that. And he goes in, this dude looks like he's like out of Akagi. If you've ever seen that like manga or show, like he looks like he has that kind of style from those shows. The Ultimate Survivor too, if you've ever seen that anime, he has like that kind of like distinct art style. It's really creepy. And like this tone of this manga just switches completely from like baseball to like he's gonna murder somebody. Like it's really wild, but I mean, shit, Akashi like I'll kill my parents if I don't score my baskets or whatever. So it's not completely unexpected, I guess, for Shonen Jump. But I've been real busy, guys, so I apologize for how short this review was. Bear with me. If there's more you want me to talk about, there's a moment you thought was fun that you didn't see me talk about, point it out in the comments. I'm happy to like comment about it and talk with you guys about it. But yeah, sorry, I've just been real busy, and like I have to kind of keep these videos short so I can get to other things kind of in my real life. But I appreciate you guys watching. Like the video if you'd liked it. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. I appreciate it. Until next time, guys. Later.